been nearly 3 weeks now since the deadly Metro smoke incident, and today a lawsuit on behalf of the woman who died aboard that Yellow Line train is expected to be filed. Metro has promised quick changes in light of the malfunction, but what about long term? Former NTSB Chair Debbie Hersman has insight into that. She led the investigation into the deadly Red Line crash in 2009. We'll talk about a bunch of things today. Good to see you.
Good morning.
So I know you're not involved directly in this incident, but first of all, what would you look for? Because you went through this with the Red Line crash a few years back, and now NTSB had the task of trying to investigate this one just a month ago.
You know, all of these crashes are unique. Everything that goes on, you've got to look at the circumstances and the events, but you're also going to want to look back at past history and see what information they had, what they knew, were there things that needed to be addressed that weren't. And so those are really the systemic issues that you want to address going forward. Do
you look back at something now, if you were investigating, and say, well, look, there was this crash in 2009 that killed a number of people, that caused a lot of problems. Do you use that as a starting point to say changes should have been made since then? Or is this just a freak accident that maybe things were in place that could have prevented?
You know, every incident is an opportunity for you to learn something. And I think that's what everyone here in the Washington area, particularly because it's the nation's capital and there are so many security issues, wants to make sure going forward. There were issues in this event involving evacuation, emergency response, and those are things that could result from a mechanical malfunction, or it could be a result of other things. And so we want to make sure that they learn from this so that any event in the future, you don't have a repeat of the same problems.
You worked with agencies all over the country and incidents and tragic accidents all over the country. A lot of people have said with Metro in D.C., it's a little unique because you have so many different agencies, municipalities, states, governments that are all involved with Metro. Does that make it tougher to deal with Metro in a situation like this?
You know, I think for safety, it doesn't matter where your boundaries are, whether you're in D.C., Virginia, or Maryland, you need to have safety all the same. But when it comes to the political boundaries, that certainly does provide challenges when it comes to funding and budget priorities. But I don't think it's anything that Metro can't work through. We see this in many municipalities, whether it's New York, New Jersey. You know, you've got to work it out, and safety's got to be the priority.
Are you taking a new role now, going from one line of safety to another?
Yeah.
And we're talking now with the auto show in town, a lot of changes that have come to our vehicles that we drive in every day, not just the planes and the trains this time around, but our own personal vehicles.
You know, there's some great technology out there, and what we're so excited about is that technology that has the potential to save lives. Active braking systems, collision avoidance systems, things that can keep those fatalities and injuries from occurring. We see 30,000 of them on our roadways, but the technology that gives us concern is all of the stuff that's being brought into the vehicle, whether it's being part of the vehicle or a pneumatic technology that can take that attention away from the driving task.
Are we talking about things like the center console now is like a big video screen in a lot of vehicles now that might distract us a little bit?
Yeah, you know, and they call that infotainment, and there's a reason really that we're concerned about this, and it's over 90% of our fatalities and our crashes on the roadway occur because of human factors issues. And so everything that we're putting in our vehicles ought to be about preventing crashes, not adding to distraction that will keep our attention away from the driving task.
Do the auto manufacturers listen, though, if you have recommendations, or can you force them to do certain things, however it works? Because it seems like everybody's trying to one-up each other right now when it comes to how much computer technology or entertainment they can pack into these vehicles.
And sure, it's a great selling point. I mean, a lot of the folks going to the auto show this week are going to be looking at the gadgets in the vehicle, seeing how interconnected they can be. And you know, the challenge is sitting in a car now is almost like a mobile workplace or your home, and you can do anything. But we really want people to be focused on the driving task when they're behind the wheel, not updating their Facebook or tweeting or purchasing movie tickets, really paying attention to what's going on the roadways.
On the flip side of that, are manufacturers making vehicles more safe now in a general sense than what we've had in the past?
Absolutely. There's such a great story to be told when it comes to technology. We see equipment out there. It's not just the anti-lock braking systems or the airbags or electronic stability control, but we actually see cars that have the potential to prevent collisions and crashes by applying the brakes or giving drivers warnings so that they can intervene.
Is there anything that if somebody's shopping right now, maybe they haven't, purchased a new vehicle in quite some time, anything that they should look for, anything that might help them a little more than something else when it comes to saving them or protecting them in the vehicle?
You know, there's a suite of technology, and I would say one of the challenges that we see is the safety shouldn't be just for those who can afford it, because some of these great technologies are really only coming in the high-end vehicles. But the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA, actually has a standard for cars, and they've added active braking to that suite. Really important technology.
All right. It's good to look for if you're out looking to purchase a new vehicle. Debbie, thanks for joining us. Now, President and CEO of the National Safety Council, of course, had been with the NTSB for some time. Good to see you. Thanks so much.